So yeah, you all hear a splash. You don't really have much context on what it was, or it just sounded like something big and heavy hit the water.
Oh my.
Apart from you, Amelia, you're unconscious.
Oh, fuck off.
Just
So-
gargles, oh my.
So we shall start with the gentleman who is by himself.
Oh no.
Yes. we
Yes,
shall start
Cecil.
with you.
Yes.
Yes, Cecil. We begin with you. So you are dragged up the flight of stairs to the north of where the cell is. You can see the rest of them sitting there in the cell, kind of doing whatever that is they wanted to do, whilst they're being unobserved. And you get dragged up this flight of stairs, and you see two doors. One rather large double door, and one quite a single door. You see the drow with you, kind of wanders over to the door and pushes it open. And what you see is, and you see this.
I was waiting for a scream then.
Right.
He might scream in a minute. You never know.
Oh, come on.
So you.
Is it Daddy? Is it Daddy?
Oh, don't.
Daddy.
You were pushed.
Picture of Nathan.
You were pushed into the room.
Daddy, no!
Sorry, I will say Roll20 has been acting out on my Discord. Said that yesterday people couldn't log in and DMs couldn't check the compendium and stuff like that. So if you can't, it's pretty normal, I think, for this week.
Yeah, that's alright. If it plays up, I'll
Worst
figure
comes
it.
to worst, we'll theatre remind of it.
Yeah, that's fine. So you're kind of unceremoniously pushed forward into this room. You can't see a lot because there's not really much light in the room. But what you can see seems to be a large area of hay and various other bits of, like, would you consider it to be bedding in this oddly shaped chamber. And there are, from what you can see, 3 other large bestial creatures in this room, kind of bedding down. But the first thing that hits you is the stench. It stinks in here. And as you get marched further and further in, you kind of spot the reason why it smells beyond belief. There are multiple mounds of rotten earth, as in feces from these creatures, dotted around, and various bits of detritus from human or humanoid bones.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! You get to clean shit for your birthday.
Fantastic.
What did you do in D&D? I cleaned shit.
Shit.
It's a metaphor for how... Yeah.
While we're travelling there, can I see if the drow has any keys on him?
Of course. Would you like to do a perception or investigate? No, do investigation check.
Investigation?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does seem that this drow doesn't really have any set of... It doesn't have what you'd consider a key that you'd be able to use in the cell. But there are a set of smaller keys which seem to be different. They're a lot smaller, and they seem to be for probably smaller doors.
Right, okay. Okay. And I was being carried in, wasn't I?
Yeah.
By the beast.
Pretty much. Dragged and
Okay.
carried almost.
Yep.
The drow pushes you forward, points over to the corner, and you see a mop and bucket and a shovel. And you go, and he says, "Congrats. Here's your second job. I wouldn't leave anything, though. Those guys might think you're food."
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. I will do my best. And I'll stroll over and do what I can.
Okay.
Start mopping up shit.
Start mopping up shit. Okie dokie. Well, the drow will take a few steps back over to the door, kind of leaning up against it, and occasionally looks at you. Whilst the other large beast kind of wanders off, sits, kind of starts picking at its feet, chewing at its feet. It's not really paying any attention. And as you go further into the room, you realise that the other 3 beasts in here, the other 3 quaggoth, they're either sleeping or just not paying you any attention. So you might be able to do things if you think of something to do.
Yeah.
Or if you just want to do your job, you can just do your job.
Is there no is it just blocked off? There's no other entryways or any small tunnels or anything like that.
No, it seems
that
like it's
perspective.
another sealed chamber, sealed cavern.
Yeah.
But you do notice over here there's a pile of bones. There seems to be stacked up, and you have 3 piles of shit, basically.
And where do I have to dump this shit off?
There doesn't seem to be
Or
anywhere.
just have to, so you just smear them? Is that the best word?
No, it seems that he's taken a step to the side of the door, and he's leaning on it.
Oh.
And as you kind of look around to see where you're supposed to dump all this, he kind of just points over the edge.
Is he mucking out the stables, basically?
He is mucking out the
Basically, yeah.
stables. Yes.
Well, I'll do 2. I'll muck out 2 first. I'm sure. Is there any? Is the shit that heavy? Do I have to do any checks? Or is
it-
Heavy shit.
It
heavy shit, man?
It is quite heavy. You need to do a strength saving throw.
Oh, no, don't.
I'm only
land
getting
in
you
it.
to do this because you brought it up.
Yeah,
So-
but it's fun, isn't it? If I
Just
land in
carry
it.
half as much.
At some point, you've got to just say, "Man, this shit is so heavy."
Oh man.
Terrible.
So
16?
a 16, you go over to the first mound. You start putting as much as you can in the bucket, and you go to move it.
Fuck it.
It seems quite heavy, but you're able to carry it. You wander over to the edge, chuck it over the side, and you just hear this splash. There's all these bits of shit, just detritus and bone and stuff that hasn't been digested, just falls into the water and starts floating away.
Can I just ask one question? This video has got a disclaimer at the front because the amount of times you use the word shit in the last 10 minutes is ridiculous.
Oh,
Yes, it
shit.
does. And I will be saying shit again, no doubt.
Does that splash sound a lot like the earlier splash we heard?
No, it sounds a lot. It sounds a bit dense. I hate you, but it does. It sounds like multiple splashes,
Describe
it.
not just one big splash.
Just looking for, because if we keep hearing splashes, we're going to think, oh, we're always hearing splashes, so nothing's unusual about the earlier splash.
True,
There's a logic to that.
there is logic to that.
There
That's
is.
cool.
On my 3rd or 4th splash,
Mm.
I will. If he's looking away, I'll attempt just to sneak over and grab the keys.
What from him?
Yeah,
From him? Okay.
I'm gonna die, but
Okay. So do a stealth check.
stealth check before I attempt. That's good.
Well, I'm not mean.
Thank you.
Aha.
What? Did you fucking lie to us?
Oh.
You believe you have not been seen.
Oh, no, come on.
Oh, DM 101.
Evil wording.
I love my wording.
And shall I try the sleight of hand?
It's up to
then?
you. You could try sleight of handing.
Two quite good rolls.
So
They were quite good.
Are they good enough?
you sneak.
Find out next month.
Another character's died. You sneak over to this drow who's on guard. Just as the Quaggoth, who is pretty much opposite, starts to make a bit of kerfuffle, kind of like rolls, and it's basically trying to prune itself. This gets the attention of the drow long enough that you are able to very quickly just take the key off him.
I will hide it in my pants.
All right,
and
so
keep doing shit.
so you literally take this key and just shove it down your pants.
Yeah, 100%.
okay.
Is that a
Anywhere,
key?
any hole.
I'm gonna need so many disclaimers on this one, aren't I?
Is there a key in your pants, or are you just happy to see me?
It is his birthday, so you know.
The key gets suitcased.
Ah. Ah.
You can add one small key to your inventory.
That's a bit
Fantastic.
personal, isn't it? Call me-
yeah, yeah.
I think the
Thank
term
you.
isn't the term prison wallet, Rob?
Sorry.
Wallet.
Well, at least it's the wallet you'll never forget.
I will just continue working very hard with the key there.
Okay, so
In
we
that place.
And walk normally.
try to walk normally
Try
with
to
this
walk
key.
normally.
Okay,
Yeah.
Right. So we shall leave you in there doing your dirty job, and we'll go back to the main room. So, what does everybody else want to be doing?
I'm still unconscious.
You
Yeah.
are still
She's
unconscious.
stable though.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure the last time, but before we finished last session, I unlocked everyone except Amelia.
Yes.
That's the only person I didn't
Yeah,
unlock.
because wasn't it a case of you couldn't get near enough to her without being observed?
Yeah.
Because
No,
she
it's
didn't-
just that I fumbled the.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
fumbled
the-
the unlocks.
The hairpin that you got from Eldeth is broken because you've fumbled enough times for it to snap.
Yeah. But then I'd nat 20'd near enough the rest of them.
Yeah, he's like, I don't need this. Dink, 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 dink.
Is there still a guard outside the door?
There is.
Okay.
Well, he's not outside the gate directly. He's over in the like the guards' quarters, the outpost.
Erdas is just going to stare at him.
You do that then. Are you trying to intimidate him, or are you just going to sit
No,
there
he's just,
staring?
he's just going to stare at them in an annoying way.
Just be a bit creepy.
Fair enough.
And not blink
Not blink.
at all. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's a con check, surely. Try not
Okay.
to blink.
It's like a predatorial glance. It's like, you don't stop looking at me, I'm gonna go get my dad.
The guard that's outside the gate, how far away is he roughly?
There is no guard just outside the gate, but the one in the guard tower, who
Yeah,
can see
yeah.
into the cell,
Mhm.
he's about 60, 65 feet away.
Is he, when you say guard tower, is he like up high? I take it
Oh no, it's over the bridge.
over the bridge. Okay, so it's like a sort of outpost, really. Yeah. Okay. Rathir will turn around and address Sarith.
Mm-hmm.
Say, you know magic, yes?
The guy looks up at you and goes, "A little. Why?"
Can you put others to sleep with your magic?
He thinks for a second. No, I do not have that. That is what the bolts are for.
Ah, very well. Well, there goes this one's plan. And he just sort of shrugs at him, like, kind of deflated looking, his ears drip a little bit.
I haven't frozen, by the way. That's what Erdas is doing, just staring at stuff.
You'd hear a voice in your head, Rathir, then, and said, from Speck saying, "I can."
Well then, he kind of, I don't know if he would know it's Speck or not, but he's kind of looking about going, well, hey, ominous voice from beyond. If you are capable of such things, if we can bring the Garda away and put him to sleep, perhaps we can unlock the gate, seeing as we are unshackled now.
You'd hear again, Speck requires his focus. Find sand, rose petals, or a cricket.
Sand, rose petals, or a cricket.
Yes.
I doubt I'm going to find a rose petal. Now, Daddy Master, so in regards to sand, I'm not sure about obviously the sort of composites of the underground, but would I possibly be able to find sand or a cricket-like bug if I scoured around the cell?
It is unlikely that you'd be able to find either of those. You might be able to find a bit of sand, admittedly, like a bit of some
Like
pebbles or
gravelly,
something.
yeah.
But a cricket in the cell, completely no. That's more of a like.
Is it in either or, though?
Yeah. I put it in the chat. It's a pinch of fine sand, so I assume if you ground down some sand, it's a pinch. You could probably do that.
Can I have a hunt around to see if there's anything I can sort of find that would be a decent substitute for sand then?
Yeah, by all means, investigation check, please.
Very well.
Didn't Speck try casting guidance on himself to see if his magic's working again?
Right. You can. And guidance, I believe, is a cantrip, is it not?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Guidance works.
Okay.
Into investigation.
Yep. So you kind of have a good look around. Takes a couple of minutes, but you gather up what you think is possibly a good substitute for sand. It's it's a bit bigger. The grains are a bit bigger, but you get the gist that if you were to grind it against something and make it a bit finer, it could work.
I will spend my efforts then finding sort of 2 flat stones, one to sort of sit the sand on and one to sort of grind it down with. So that's my time spent on that.
Okay. Okay. Amelia, after about 5 more minutes, you'd probably start waking up with 1 hit point.
Okay.
Because it's been nearly an hour, and as the time goes on, a unfamiliar drow starts walking across the bridge. He's one that none of you have actually seen before. In his hand seems to be a large bucket. I love buckets, I don't know why.
Oh,
Come on.
Other brother
Come
comes in,
on.
He's holding a bucket with
with another bucket in his face. You get sprung.
he's holding a bucket in one hand and a bucket in the other as he's crossing this bridge. He steps over to the gate, followed by a Quaggoth. If I can actually move the token. Let me move the token. Let me move the token. Come on.
Can I, as they approach, can Rathir quickly sort of like jank his shackles together as a sort of hint to everyone?
Yep, of course. So yeah, do sleight of hand because obviously he's close enough to be able to hear you do this now. But
Yeah. It's like-
you got to do is just
I
beat
think,
him.
I think we said they can be closed, but
yeah.
Mm.
so I
like
wouldn't have
him just,
unlocked mine.
Yeah, just
No.
him giving a hint that obviously don't have them off.
Yeah, you do so. You seem to you get his attention, and you get the rest of the group's attention about the shackles, but you also get this guy's attention as he kind of looks over to you and sees you kind of jangle them slightly. His brow furrows slightly, but he doesn't think anything of it. He turns to his the Quaggoth next to him and goes, "Move them." So, Erdas, are you going to move back?
no. He's going to stand stock still staring at this guard.
Fair enough. So this guy kind of looks over to you and goes, "If you don't want any food and water, then stay there all you like."
He steps 1 step to the left or right, whichever but he maintains eye contact with the guard, not blinking.
He looks at you, he's like, "Understood." Kind of bends down, and there's to the side there's this little latch that he moves and pushes these 2 buckets in. And they land kind of just where you were standing, so you were almost in the way. He closes it again as this Quaggoth kind of turns and starts walking off. This figure kind of takes a step towards you, looks over his shoulder as the Quaggoth walks away, and then looks back and leans in and goes, "I'm guessing none of you want to be here for much longer." I might be able to help with that.
Inside check.
Go for it.
God, you're so trusting.
You believe he's telling the truth.
Okay.
He kind of sees that you're just staring at him and goes, "I hope to God you're not the talkative one of your group."
Well, you see, I was trying to work out a way out of that door, but you've broken my concentration now.
Well, maybe if you were to, I don't know, not all sleep later?
I don't sleep.
He looks at you a bit confused, and
Then he points to the ears.
"Oh, right. Maybe if you weren't to be in a trance
I could do that.
later, you might find the door to your liking."
Is he saying this loud enough for everyone in the room to hear?
He's trying not to say it too loudly.
Right, okay. I could see my way clear to being awake when something strange happens.
He grins and he goes, "Excellent, that'll show that arsehole." Amelia, you is awake, and when he says that arsehole, you get the impression he's talking about the other guy who was here. He kind of looks at Erdas and he's like, "Very well. But please, enjoy." As Yoda goes off in the background.
Every single time.
It's just a running theme
That was
now.
amazing.
Speck's a halfling. He's going for the food.
Okay. In one of the buckets looks like fresh clean water. In the other one looks like this porridge, slush, almost food.
Paper mache.
Pretty much paper mache. You get the gist. You get from the looks of it. It's probably highly nutritious, but probably doesn't taste of anything nice.
It's alright, I had a cracker 3 weeks ago, I'm fine.
Speck's just going to grab a fistful of slop and eat it.
Okay.
Do you need me to roll anything for grinding down this supposed sand?
Yes. Let's go with
Sleight of sand.
sleight of sand.
Hey!
I like that. Let's go with let's do an investigation to see if you can actually get it to do it as you're trying to, because it's basically a makeshift mortal and pestle.
As I'm sort of feel like I'm coming to the end, I will call out to the ominous voice if whoever it is to come and inspect this as I'm kind of getting to the end.
Okay.
Speck will come over and have a look.
Awesome. So I will roll investigation.
He'll give you guidance on it
Ooh.
because he thinks you need help grinding sand.
You're too kind. Uh, 17.
With a bit of noise and effort after this guy's gone and before you arrived, you do feel like you've managed to get these big blocks of sand, of these big lumps of sand, a bit finer. You think they would work, yeah.
You're not filming with hope here, Daddy. I will gather that up as best I can and rip a little bit of fabric off my clothes and sort of pouch it up.
Okay, so yeah, you have a pouch of potentially fine sand.
And I will I'll hold it over just like as if you're holding out dirty laundry, just to see who takes it.
Speck will take the sand, but you'll hear another voice in your head saying, "This won't work on the elves."
Out loud, he hears, "It's not them I'm particularly worried about."
You get a nod, and then he'll just sort of secrete it away, not in his prison wallet.
You don't want that in your prison wallet. No.
Anywhere but there.
Yeah, you'd be washing that for years, getting sand out.
That's what the water's for.
Are the buckets small enough to pull through the bars?
No, he had to open a small catch underneath to push them through. They're
Oh, so
about,
they're in.
How big was the hole they came through? Was it literally bucket sized?
you could probably fit a halfling or smaller through it once it's open.
Okay.
I'll pick up the 2 buckets and start doing rounds, kind of getting everyone fed and watered.
Okay, so yeah, everyone quite happily takes it. You go over to Stall, and he looks at you. It's hard to tell whether he's curious. You see the spores go off again as he shakes. He goes, "Thank you, but come to me last."
Oh, very well, my friend. Please, and I will dip both hands in the water and make a little pool of water cupped in both hands and offer it to him.
You kind of watch as he kind of looks at you, and he puts his hands underneath yours, and if you let the water in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he kind of brings it to his mouth and starts to drink it slightly.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just do the rounds, make sure everyone's fed and such then.
Yeah, so about half an hour to do that, because some people are more piggish than others, especially, well, when the orc returns, he'll probably want some as well.
Yeah, so he's trying to measure that, and some hands get slapped.
When you reach Erdas, he waves you away. I'm a fan, thank you very much.
Oh, very well then.
Okay, Speck got fed first because he knows prison rules. That makes him the king of the prison.
Can Erdas attempt to cast Mage Hand as an experiment? To see
You
if he
can indeed.
Does it work?
Mage Hand indeed works.
Can I send the catch the elf used to open the latch? Is it visible from inside the cell?
Yes, you can see it from the inside of the cell.
Using Mage Hand, can I try and just open the latch?
Of course. Do a... are you going to try and do it quietly?
Yes.
Yeah, do a sleight of hand.
Sleight of mage hand.
Sleight of mage hand.
Like a mage hand.
14.
So you kind of direct your hand, this spectral hand, to do it, looking around to make sure no one's observing. You try to flick it up, but there seems to be something caught, almost like the latch might have a lock or something on it. And as you kind of flick at it, you just hear this ding, ding, ding as the lock kind of bangs against the side. And as you kind of peer further around, you see that it's got a little lock leaning out the side of it.
I'll dispel Mage Hand.
Dispel Mage Hand goes. So after a few minutes, the door opposite opens again, and this time you see Ron and Turvy coming back through, followed by quite a few drow. Your favourite is back, Amelia.
I attempt to stand up, even though I'm probably quite tired still, but god darn it, I'm going to try anyway.
Yeah, go for it. Well, I will say that you are more than capable of standing up.
I just don't want to look weak in front of him.
As he sees you stand up, he kind of grins to himself, and he's like, I see you've recovered.
I don't say anything, I just glare at him.
He grins again. He looks to you, Erdas, and goes, if you're still standing behind that door, and goes, move now.
Erdas moves back 2 spaces, as in just walks backwards, but keeps his eyes on him.
Further.
He moves back a little bit more.
The door's open. Yeah, they unlock the door. Ron and Turvy get shoved in. The door is locked behind. As the big guy kind of walks over and sees Amelia again and goes, "Did you have a nice nap?"
I'm pretty sure there was 2 more with you. Where are they?
Well, one made a fatal mistake, and the other has an extra little job to do.
Can I ask a question?
You can ask.
Are you still watching? Because we are going to get out of here.
He just laughs in your face. He's like, "I'd love to see you try."
And you will. That is my point. I said, keep watching. What is difficult in this?
He just grins at you. He's like, I love it when the prisoners have a bit of spirit and bite to them.
I didn't realize you was into that sort of kinky thing. Not my thing at all.
You are a weird one. But I'm sure that you will make an excellent slave, and if you don't make an excellent slave, then I'm pretty sure Lolith will enjoy you as an offering.
Would I, from my time with him, know what Lolith is?
Do a history check. You've heard him once or twice mention Lolith when he's by himself. And you did notice one time that he had a small statue with him that looked like it was like a female with the bottom half of a spider.
Okay.
You know that he wasn't everything you thought he was when he was with you. Because whenever you kind of try to ask him about anything, he would be very quiet whenever you mentioned Lolith, if you've ever heard the name. But you get the gist that she might be a deity?
Okay. I'm just gonna look him dead in the eyes and just... It's funny. Whenever I talked about her, you would almost look like you were gonna piss yourself. Have you finally grown a pair? Or is she just not as scary as she used to be?
Well, it was unfortunate that you actually ever heard her name. Down here I can be free to say what I like. Up on the surface I can't exactly do that.
What can I say? You've got a big mouth.
Says the one behind the bars.
The difference is, though, I will get out. And that firebolt is only a beginning of what I will do to you.
Well, if you think you can get out, come and see me. You've walked past my room already today, since you've been here.
It's a date.
I look forward to it. And with that, he kind of just grins at you, grins at the rest of you, and goes, well then, I best leave you to, plot, as he walks off.
As soon as he's out of earshot, I sort of look to Erdas and I just say, how certain are you that you can get us out?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say 15.
Okay.
Can I have a chat with the guy that I'm standing next? I believe it's an NPC we haven't spoken to yet.
Indeed. What did I just say to him?
Hello.
All right, Case.
Kill it, bruv.
Oh, it's in the Scottish accent.
Okay, mate.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
This is going to be interesting.
Right,
My
just
Scottish
ask a
accent's
question.
terrible, so I'm going to stick with my Cockney one.
Nah, to be fair though, I meant to say that last week that your accent last week from was fucking quite spot on. I was like, that fair one.
It was brilliant.
Yeah,
Are we
from me that
supposed
was
to see a
awesome.
map, by the way,
Sorry?
because are we supposed to be seeing a map? Because I've only got a black screen, by the way.
You need to zoom out because you should be able to see a map.
Nope, I've
It's
got a black
midway
screen.
down all the way to the right.
Ah, right, okay, yep, okay.
Where I'm pinging.
Yep, that's fine.
Yes.
I had not zoomed far enough. That is fine.
If
Well,
you-
why when I was thinking you said you moved back, well, you haven't really moved back. You're still right up against the door.
Yeah, no. I thought we were theatre of minding, so...
No, there is actually a map.
Yeah, no, my fault. I am now
Oh,
with you.
I'm
all.
livid.
it's a thing that's
Anyway,
easily
so-
fixed.
Yeah.
So before I was so rudely interrupted. I'm going to ask what the name is.
Well, I am Budipo.
You're Buddido.
Budido. Buppido.
Buddido.
I can't even say it myself.
Hippo.
You created me.
Buppido. I didn't create this. Was on the book.
Okay.
Buppido.
Can we just call him Hippo?
If you wish to call him Hippo, you can do.
Well, Buppy, I'm Gharath,
It's a greetings to meet you.
and I've been chatting round and trying to find out if people have any little tricks or traits that might help us get out of here. Do you have anything up your sleeve, so to speak, that might come in handy? We've got little plots going on around here, and we'd like to see what stocks we can make use of. Skills.
Well. If I was to tell you all of my skills, there is a chance that you may think me lying. So I shall say this. I am rather good in a pinch. And yeah, he doesn't say anything else.
I'll stand there and raise one eyebrow and give a half smile and just a little nod, and notice if the slurry has got round to him. I'll just look down and say, well, enjoy your meal. We'll see if we can come up with something later.
Indeed. And he will go to eat. Handful and...
And I'm going to have a wander over towards the gate again.
Towards whom, sorry?
The gate.
Oh, the gate, okay. Sorry, I thought you said that one of the character. I was like, ooh, which one? Okay. So
I'll have a look out and see if I can see where our other comrades are.
So I will say that about 5 to 10 minutes passes. There doesn't seem to be any activity outside the gate, but you do occasionally hear these multiple drops, like splashes into the water just to the north. And you hear one of the drow over there saying, "Would you hurry up? I don't wish to be standing in here all day."
I think with them having not coming back, Speck would inquire from the two that did come back which one had the fatal mistake.
Rathir would go up because he's quite worried about Sylvie.
So who are you going to go to, Ront or Turvey?
Speck would go to Turvey. Ront's a bit big.
Okay, and Rathir, do you want to go to the same or?
Turvey as well because he's on friendly terms with them.
Okay, so the two of you approach Turvey, who's kind of crying slightly as Topsy's hugging him, and he looks up and goes, "Yeah, what?"
Speck be speaking out loud, which he does very rarely. Where's the cat lady and the elf man?
Well, elf man, he's cleaning the Quaggoth den. And he kind of looks over to Prince Derendil, and he's like, "Them." And
the cat.
she slipped and fell, and I didn't see her. I just heard a splash. I think she's gone.
I think with this, Speck would just stare up at the other cat man.
Yeah, he's kind of like his cool slipped at this point. He kind of like that sort of outburst, and he just makes his way over to the gate, and he's like kind of clawing at the bars to try and see what you can see around the edges at this point.
Okay. So yeah, you do that. You can see as far as your vision allows. You do know that underneath the spider webs is a rather large river that flows up to the north from a waterfall that's further south. Turvey will explain that they were asked to get fresh water. Runt went first, did it quite successfully, then followed by Cecil, who dropped and broke one of the buckets, but managed to climb back. And for losing one of the buckets, he got punished with more labour.
Yeah.
And to save Turvey from having to do it, Sylvie was going to go multiple times.
Yeah.
And she went over the first time and didn't come back.
Right.
She slipped, dropped the bucket, slipped, and didn't hear anything other than a giant splash.
As the sort of tale's been regaled to him as he's looking outside, he kind of turns to kind of look down at Turvey. His pupils are properly thin now, like razor thin. So he looks down at Turvey, he's like, so she falls taking your job then?
She volunteered. She didn't want me to do it.
Kind of just pulls himself up towards Turvey and comes down, looks at him. He's like, you see there's a bit of rage, but he takes a few moments to kind of pull himself together. Goes, it's far too much like her. She is too careless about herself and too caring about others. But until I see a body, she is not dead.
And Turvikar looks up at you and says, She might have survived? I don't know. She might be waiting for us at the bottom.
Well, my need to get out of here has just been expedited further.
I will help where I can. And Topsy kind of looks at him and is like, really? Yeah, they friends. I don't want to be in here much longer. And Topsy kind of looks at him and is like, well, you know I'll follow you anywhere, brother.
Help is appreciated, little one. Pats him on the head, sort of ruffles it a bit.
You kind of ruffle this like mohawk and a little bit of tuft he's got on his head that's hair, and you kind of see him almost like you would with a child. They kind of grin slightly and they kind of accept it.
They just kind of has a seat up against the wall, not looking particularly happy anymore.
Okay. Anything anybody else wants to do?
See if Sylvie dies.
I'm going to try to move closer and just have a look down at that little doorway that Erdas was looking at.
Yep, so
I'll see if I can see what sort of lock it is on it. Or
it looks like it's a padlock. It's about the size of... You guess that you wouldn't be able to fit through it, being a large individual. But if you were able to open it, possibly Topsy-Turvy or anybody who's smaller than a halfling, if not a halfling, might be able to slip through. Or someone who is dexterous might be able to get through. And it seems to have a padlock on it that's facing the other direction.
so, Erdas, you've moved back now, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're over there. It's only because you were standing near it. I'd like to have a wander over and just have a chat and just say, I noticed you were looking at that the wee door.
Mm-hmm.
If we could open that, do you think anybody could get the keys for the big door?
To be honest, the only people in this room that could fit are the smaller people.
Mm-hmm.
However, when I tried to open it just now, I was stymied by the lock. If somebody in this room could furnish me with the tools to open a lock, I could maybe pick it from this side. Maybe.
I only have one borrowed tool, but it's a bit too big for picking the lock. I've got that metal bar up my sleeve.
Erdas slowly does that with his sleeve, and you see the end of an iron bar poke out, and he slips it back.
I give
Good man,
little,
think of that.
I give a little sort of a laugh and a nod, and I'm just going to go and grab some of the slop.
Kind of sheepishly, Amelia will go over to Erdas and I have this. Could you make do with this? And I'm gonna hand him my what was it called? Flint shard.
Erdas takes it. Would it actually? Could I use that to pick the lock with Mage Hand? Do I know enough to know that?
The very tip of it might, and I stress might, fit in the lock.
Again.
Might fit in the lock.
Thank you. Thank you.
But because you haven't actually seen the actual opening for the lock, you don't know whether it will or won't fit.
I couldn't do it anyway then because I wouldn't be able to see it to do it.
It would be a very hard DC to try and figure out how to, because also you only summon one hand, not two. And normally you need two to try and get the gimbal and everything. So by yourself, it would be very, very hard. And as you can't see it, it would even be even harder.
And second, thank you very much for the offer. However, I do not think that my accent is holding up at all.
I was going to say, your accent seems to be changing quite
I
sporadically.
don't even know what this accent is anymore. I am just making this shit up as I go along.
Are you by chance from Sadash? That's the impression I'm getting from.
I don't know exactly where I'm from, but it seems to be changing all the time.
The Underdark via Paris.
Yeah. however, I will try and reel it back and get some sort of a semblance
I
of
love
an
it.
accent coming
I
back.
think it's awesome.
That's why my accent is a whisper. You can't really lose.
Yeah.
So anyway, unfortunately, I do not think my abilities will allow me to pick the lock with this implement from this side. However, I am reliably informed that the door may magically open this night if someone were to remain awake. I have. Is that actually happening in game? Because if so, this is the moment where Erdas is going, okay, this is very strange. I can hear a voice inside my head. I do not like that. It is very odd. I will try and continue with what I'm. Sorry, yes. There is something, and you notice that Erdas is totally distracted now, because that's completely not in his wheelhouse.
See the sort of goings on. Rathir kind of brushes himself off and gets up. Says, rather than moping around, can I be of assistance?
Technical question. If Erdas uses Mage Hand to go to the lock, can somebody then direct him from the outside to do what he's doing?
From the outside?
From if he's actually manipulating the lock, can somebody be looking through and
That's
somebody
just basically my thought as well. While he's concentrating the spell, me or someone else can help make the adjustments.
You can certainly try.
Oh, I like that.
Though, keep in mind that these bars are close to each other, and if you were able to get your head through, you might not be able to pull it back.
Would I be able to fit my head through the little bucket hatch?
There are bars on that as well. It's like the bars are offset slightly on that because of how the gate that bit of the gate works. Because it's like a hinge that pulls up.
Let me see how they slid the buckets through. Is my head of roughly the same sort of width proportions as the buckets?
They opened it to get the buckets through, so your head is probably slightly larger than the gap between the bars.
Yeah, no worries then.
We've all seen cats squeeze through tiny spaces.
That's
So,
true.
True.
it should be in their racial statistics.
That should be
Yes.
actually, yeah. They can fit through something one size smaller than them.
The new racial trait is squidgy.
Yeah.
It's liquid. Body type liquid.
It's like Eugene Toombs.
No, it's just that.
Formless.
It's just in quotation marks. If I fits, I sits.
Yeah. I mean, I'm willing to give it a try if someone wants to give me some direction.
Well, I will say that whilst you might not be able to fit your head through without getting it stuck, if you could find something, or if anybody had something that could be used as a mirror, you might be able to see, at least try to see what you're doing.
Is that gate still being watched by a guard, though?
Yes, there are guards over in the watchtower. And
So
yeah.
look a little bit conspicuous if everyone's just up against the gate like this with a mirror.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Can you see? I can't move down a bit.
Yeah, move it left, right. Don't worry, don't mind us. Move it left, move.
They wait till we finish, they just lock it again.
They're just sitting there watching, and all of a sudden you open it, and they're like, lock. There you go.
As we're talking about all this, Rathir kind of shakes his head and says to Erdas, the other dark elf, what did that one have to say to you?
Well, as I was saying to the halfling, I believe I heard the name is Amelia. Is that correct?
Yes. Lieutenant Amelia Woodgrove.
It
An
is.
honor.
It is good to meet you. As I was saying to Amelia, there is a possibility that the door may find itself open overnight if one person stays awake. I had already offered to be that person.
Well, that is a decent proposal, should it come to pass. However, I think picking locks at this time with as many eyes as there are on us may be unwise.
I would agree with that assumption.
Agreed. So, shall we just try to rest as much as we can before this mystery savior comes?
Yeah, can
Yes, the elf was not very forthcoming about what time this mystical opening door ceremony would take place. So,
Most aren't. They like to keep their secrets.
I'm learning this to be true.
Well, we should rest until one of us catches wind. We can rotate a guard through if need be.
I am quite. I will be honest with you. I am very capable of staying awake for many hours without rest. It is a talent I have developed over the years.
That sounds severely depressing, my friend.
My life, it is.
Respectfully, I think I might try and rest. I forgot how much those crossbows hurt.
I must say, the way you took them was very impressive.
When you're on the front lines, you kind of learn to take those kind
You-
of things.
Where did you serve? I have some experience of military matters myself.
Bear with me, I did write it down. I am following my family's tradition. I'm part of the Quattordecimo Exerciti Magi company.
I will have to ask you to spell that. My common is not very good. Is there a short form, maybe?
Just the 14th Magi company.
Have I heard of that, based on the fact that I have a military background?
Do a history check.
Okay.
At this point, Speck's already sat down to have a snooze. Doesn't need to be told twice to go to sleep.
I haven't even heard of my own name.
Yeah, you have a momentary blank as you just can't get the thought You know it's there somewhere. You just can't pull
I
it forward.
should remember this, but I may have lost something in the translation. It is not ringing any bells for me, unfortunately. However, you look like the sort of person to have next to you in battle, so I hope I can return the flavor if it comes. Not flavor, favor. If it comes to that.
Oh.
Oh, I believe we can all help each other at this point.
That is my sincere hope too.
Right. If no one else objects, I would like to rest for a bit. And I'm sorry if I was a bit forbearing when he was here.
We all have our secrets and how you say I forget the word. Vendetta, is it?
Something like that, yes.
I too have people that deserve their comeuppance, if that is the correct term.
Well then, maybe we can both help each other out in that respect.
Well, I did tell him to keep watching, and I'm hoping I can honor that boast at some point.
We will. And you can watch as he loses that pretty little eye of his. In the meantime, good night. And
Good
I'm
night.
gonna lean against the wall and rest, and just take a snooze.
Cecil, can you please do 2 more strength saving throws for me?
Of course.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to do in that room? Do you want to try and search through anything, or look at anything in particular?
I don't want to search through that.
So you're a pick through shit.
You're gonna pick through that shit?
Well, in the room,
Oh, a gold coin!
in the room there is a pile of bones and you got 2 piles of shit remaining. So,
Well, I'll have a look. I'll sort of accidentally stumble over the pile of bones, so it spreads out a little bit.
okay, so do a performance check. So you kind of
I just fall.
yeah you go to try and push the bones or try to body slam them slightly so they go everywhere, but it's clear what you're doing as you kind of just go, oh no, as you put your hand up and
Sounds
just
like
fall
that.
over.
It sounds exact. How do you know my character so well?
It's like,
Good for
oh
you,
no!
the DM.
And you just fall over. These bones kind of hurt slightly. You take 2 points of piercing damage
Ouch.
as you land on 2.
I'm down, guys. I'm down.
You mean he's not comforted by the soft substance that is poo?
That's why it was only 2.
What shot?
You
So
gotta say,
you kind of feel that you've been stabbed by 2 bones, 2 small femurs that are broken, and they kind of get you in the leg slightly as you fall over, and you're like, ah, fuck it. The Quaggoth in the room kind of just look over to you. One of them seems to get up. You're thinking, oh, is it going to come towards you? As it kind of takes a step, it kind of just turns around and curls back up. You get the
Right.
impression that it's not happy you've made a noise, and it's giving you the cold shoulder.
Okay. Can I pocket one of the bones that stabbed me
Yeah, of course, sleight of hand.
in my wallet?
In
Let's
your
have a look.
Oh,
in
Oh,
your
that's
butt
getting
pouch.
rapidly full, that is. That's going to be uncomfortable in a minute.
You're going to put the bone up your butt pouch.
Yeah, so let's have a look.
Even without load, well done.
In my bag of holding.
In your oh no!
It's a different plane in there.
Oh, funny,
Ah.
funny, Sylvie. So you do indeed manage when
Haha.
the attention on you dies down slightly, and you just get this this disgruntled, irritated look from the guard as he kind of just almost turns his back to you slightly. You manage to find one of these femurs, the broken bit shards, kind of see where it is. You pull it out your shin slightly, and you kind of pop it down your pants.
Oof.
Over the rest
I
of,
look very impressive right now.
I just like,
Yeah.
oh dear, I'm falling.
Huzzah!
Yeah, you've gone from small kitty to large
The
bone.
large bone. Isn't that always the natural progression?
Pretty much.
The problem is, think about where you are, right? You're surrounded by shit.
Oh, it's getting worse
Doesn't
and worse.
say a lot about your character.
Yeah.
So yeah, you managed to pocket the broken femur, which you believe
Awesome.
you could either use it as a knife, or you could be able to throw it,
Right, okay.
because it's quite a sharp edge. It might, and it's a bit weighty, but you might be able to throw it. It might go not go very far, but you can at least throw it. And as you cleaning up the rest of the piles of foulness, unfortunately, you kind of get a little bit of the second pile on you.
Yeah.
As it spills down your front slightly as you're kind of throwing it over the side. The third pile, though, as you're kind of shoveling it in, I'd like you to do a perception check for me.
Ooh.
Ooh.
This better not be the origin story for Aya's
Oh.
character.
As you kind of put the shovel in to lift it, it seems to hit against something. You just presume it's a stone, so you lift it and put it in the bin, and then shove it over the side.
And that was the end game key that you needed to get out of the cell.
Yeah.
I would never be that mean to give you something like that.
Insight check the
Yeah, you
DM.
would.
Of course you can insight check the DM. I will tell you that you'll never be able to get it correct, even if you rolled an actual 20. Because that
It
would be
was a
ruining the
metal
story.
Badger.
What?
It was a metal badger. There you go.
Yeah, you
Dwarven
know I'm
badger.
telling you the truth.
I don't know, guys. He seems legit.
So after all that, you've got a bit of lovely dust down you. You finish cleaning up the piles, and the drow. yes, Sylvie, you've cursed everybody.
Yeah.
And
Did you lick your screen?
Dick.
So you get dragged back to the cell.
Yep, brilliant.
As you approach the cell, the rest of you notice that there are more drow come through from the outpost again. Oh, and Amelia, it is your favourite individual.
As they walk up, I go, "Can anybody else? Hello."
I'm covered in shit.
Pretty much, you kind of spot as Cecil comes round the corner,
No, no.
followed by a drow
He
and a
was
goblin.
actually saying. He was actually saying to the drow he was staring at earlier that he had the conversation of keep watching. He literally had eye contact. Because then he was like, "Oh, hello," ignoring the fact that Cecil was covered in crap.
Fair enough. So this guy approaches, as does Cecil. Quite a few, two quaggas, a couple of drow, and some of the heavy drow. They open the gate and pretty much shove Cecil through.
Thank you for a good time.
You looked like you had fun. Not kind of my kind of party, but hey, whatever floats your boat.
When Cecil walks through, he'll hear that, and to everyone in there, because he was quite confident to the drow, sort of saying, thank you, great time, thank you. And as soon as he walks in there, his face drops and his eyes start slightly watering, as he will go as far alone in any corner possible and just face the wall and sit down.
You do get a few strange looks as you walk past, as people kind of go sniffing the air, and they look at you and they're just like, "Oh, he had a fun job." So your best friend Amelia comes to the gate and he's like, "So, time for another little job, I suppose. We're getting hungry."
You know what a good cure for that? Eating food.
Yes, we know.
Why don't you just eat on your own arse? That's what you're good at.
Oh, it's gonna be fun taking that attitude out of your. It's gonna be fun.
Can I clarify? Did she say eat out of your own arse? Is that what she said?
I think that's what Amelia actually said. Yes.
I
Yeah.
thought so.
That's what I heard.
And with some of the things that you guys are keeping and secreting, hiding places, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't want to eat out of anyone. I wouldn't want to anyway, but definitely not.
Just to confirm as well, because I gave the rusty metal bar to Gharath, and I've got the crossbow bolt still.
Mhm.
Just confirming that.
Broken crossbow bolt.
No, the hairpin got broken, not the
Yeah.
crossbow bolt.
Mm.
Oh, right.
So you got, I think at the moment, from what you've all been saying, you've got 2 iron bars, 1 flint that could be used as a dagger, 1 hairpin broke,
Crossbow.
and a crossbow bolt.
Can the crossbow bolt be used as a dagger-esque weapon?
Mm,
I would say it's like one use and then snap.
something like that, yeah.
Can't
You
be
could definitely stab somebody with it, but
Yeah.
whether you get it back or not is another
Yeah.
matter.
That's fine, yeah. Just confirming.
That's fine. So, Ron and Turvey have already been subjected to a little bit of fun, as is Cecil and Amelia. So let's Cecil and Sylvie. So let's find out who's doing the next little task.
Is that what he says or what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Ah.
Daddy's going to give out chores.
Daddy is going to give out chores. Why did I agree with you?
Daddy,
Oh, well,
Daddy!
Daddy, I don't like hoovering up. Daddy.
Can I have my pocket money now before
No.
I do it?
No, no pocket money allowed.
Aww.
So you hear this guy go, mushroom, and the delusional one, I think, would probably be better at this. Not the
The,
mushroom!
Not the mushroom!
As he says, the delusional one, Erdas looks around the room.
I know, I'm just sort of just like,
Delusional.
I'm still looking at him and it's just like, oh, you're going to finally do some work. That's really impressive of you.
Speck's still asleep.
Yeah,
Still
same with
sleeping in the middle of the floor.
Still sleeping.
So when he says he says the delusional one, he looks at all a few of you, and then looks back and goes, "Maybe I should have chosen my words better. How about the one who thinks he's a prince?" And Derendil kind of looks over, stands up, and goes, "But I am a prince." And then he looks around the rest of you.
He could be a prince, you know. We don't know.
Points over at Rathir and goes, "You."
And he does this sort of big, like, sort of line, sort of yawn. Well, you want this one, or whatever for?
You'll find out. And then he looks over at Cecil and goes, "No, I don't think I'd want you anywhere near food. You.
Thank you.
I think this is going to be a good one for you." And he looks straight at Amelia and goes, "Oh, this is going to be good."
You're taking me out to dinner. That's so kind of you.
Well, less more taking you out to dinner, more you're making the dinner.
Good
I would
point, let's-
suggest not. I would suggest not picking someone who might spit in your food. Just as an observation.
Oh, if she does, because we will be watching, that'll just be extra punishment for her. So the more she plays
I'm
up, the
just-
worse
I'm
it
just
gets.
I'm just still watching him and just, I have a smirk on my on my face. It's just like,
I have a smirk on my grin.
I have
Oh,
a
somebody else
smirk
did it,
on my
yay!
grin.
How dare you grin your smirk at me?
Yeah, somebody else did it. It's not just me.
I'd like to see you try and stop me from grinning on my smirk.
Oh my lord, I love it.
Somehow Amelia's grew a mustache that can grin.
So are the two of you going to come with them?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Oh.
Okay.
I mean, Rathir's thought is also they're dealing with food, so they picked the manky, furry one. Okay, I mean, it's not like anything horrendous is going to end up in there.
Well, they didn't want Cecil because, might not
What
be
shit? What, they did
completely
what, shit stain?
hygienic. Yeah, it might not be completely hygienic. So the gate opens and the four of you go through. So before I do Amelia and Rathir's task, is there anything anybody else wants to do?
Leave this cell. It's getting boring.
No, you're not allowed to do that.
Okay, fair enough. I thought I'd ask.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry if this is boring for you.
No, I was doing that in character. I just didn't-
No, they just grin at you. It's like, no, not yet.
Before you leave, I just want to confirm you're still watching, yes?
We're still watching you. We will always be
Oh,
watching you.
Oh, good, because I don't want you to miss the moment when we all escape and you get fun.
You're not going to escape, so this is going to be fun.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you do not miss this. It's going to be very good.
So, before we continue, do you want to have a quick break here?
Can do.
Cool.
Yeah?
Yep, it's been
No,
about an
no.
hour and a half, and we've got another hour and a half to go. So if you do it here, and then we come back.
Yeah.
All right. So
Cool.
see you, what,
Um,
10
is
minutes?
this
Down a
the-
drink.
Oh.
Is this the dickhead?
Yes, that is the dickhead.
Ah, okay.
Right. So, Amelia and Rathir, along with your two companions, Derendil and Stool, you are marched over the bridge. I'll move your characters if you want.
Yeah.
Make it easier. So
Yeah, just whatever's easier for you.
right. So if I highlight them all, this is gonna be interesting because you're moving as a giant group. Okay, so you move over across the bridge. He is over there. There is a lot of you. Over the second bridge, outside of that room, next to the waterfall. No, there aren't
I can't
people
believe-
over on the in the water because I just moved you there. Right, it seems that the two of you don't actually have vision very well.
I
don't
can-
have dark vision.
I've got dark vision as well, but for some reason I can only see a certain slither of the map.
I don't have dark vision, so I'm in complete darkness.
Your dark vision is 120, yeah?
60.
60, okay. For some reason it's not better?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Amelia, you don't have dark vision and they don't actually have any torches out and about in this area.
Yeah.
So you is going to be blind, but I shall
Yeah.
direct you. So you go across that bridge. You find this ledge, which you recognise from Topsy and Turvey's description of like where Sylvie was before she fell.
Yeah.
And you can see the precipice and the damp edge, which you could quite happily assume that that's where they went. You follow around across the small little bridge you can see just over here, which Amelia won't be able to see.
I can see my token, I just can't see anything, and it's fucking terrifying.
Hey, that's me. You see this bridge, which you can't see, haha.
Yeah.
And
Heal this bridge.
you eventually make it into what seems to be a large opening on the side of the hill face, which Amelia should be able to see because there should be a torch there.
I cannot see anything.
No, okay. Well, give me one memento. And so, Amelia's best friend goes over to the door over here. Oh, you won't be able to see that. Where are we? Goes to the door over here because there's a door here. It's really hard when one of you doesn't have dark vision to try and describe what you can see.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Have dark vision next time, and it opens the door.
Yeah, Liz. Creating a character that makes sense.
Fuck off. A lot of you.
Love you.
Yeah,
Love you
imagine making a
too.
character that doesn't have dark vision and a campaign in the Underdark.
I
Yeah,
know.
Yeah, that's a really stupid thing to do.
It wouldn't have even more stupid when I was picking my spells. I didn't think about like getting the light spell
No,
Oh
God.
man, that would have been brilliant.
unless like the DM is kind enough to let me retcon. So I do have. Well, no, I've got prestidigitation. I can light shit up with that, can't I?
Yeah, you can create a small temporary
can-
light with that.
Yeah.
So, you were guided into this
Don't fall
room,
into it.
which you should better see now because there is actually light in that room.
Yes.
Excellent. Which there are 2 ordinary drow sitting, seeming like they're playing cards and relaxing. And next to one of them sits a quaggoth, kind of on the floor, almost curled up. A bit smaller than the ones you've seen, so maybe a younger one, or one that's a pet. You're not quite sure. There are 2 tables in this room, and a giant brazier on the other side of the room. Over here, you see 2 tables. One has an assortment of knives, cutlery, utensils, a few lumps of meat, you're assuming, because they don't look like anything you've seen before. Obviously, you've seen beef and pork and chicken, but
This is the other meat.
yeah, these are like strange. One of them almost, as you kind of glance over it.
Someone's penis.
No, I didn't say someone's penis.
No, you did say other meat though, and that I'm just gonna shut up now.
Does
Oh,
it
okay.
look like elongated porcine?
Oh my god. Okay, so it looks like this one meat that you see, this one like a lump of meat seems quite long, and on one edge of it. Stop it, all of you! This is a dirty door.
Rub it, does it get bigger?
Does it look like a penis? No. Proceeds to describe a penis.
Yeah. If you start stroking it, does it slowly get longer?
It is quite stiff.
Why do I even try playing with you
That-
people?
that-
All I get
that's
is
the-
penis jokes.
Episode title: Elongated meat.
Elongated porcine, yeah.
Yes.
I'm not going to continue describing it because you're just going to take the mic.
No, please.
No.
continue.
No, I'm not going to continue describing it. You've lost the
well,
immersion
be
for that bit.
mature.
Anyway,
mature.
so
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm kidding.
on one side of this lump of meat, behave. It seems to be quite. It seems to be it's like it scales, like you would presume from a lizard almost. In a bowl next to it seems to be an assortment of mushrooms, some of various colours and shapes and sizes. And a mortal and pestle sits just below it. In the far edge of the room, over here, seems to be quite a few. Obviously, others can't see this, but seems to be quite a few sacks of what you presume to be grains, flours, other bits and bobs that might come in sacks like that. And Amelia, your best friend, kind of walks over, looks at the 4 of you, and goes, "Prepare us dinner, and do it well, or you will become our dinner." I hate you so much right now. So fucking much.
no, the only reason I'm laughing is because just as you said become dinner, I was about to ask a question about the long meat.
God! I'm always gonna have to
right.
blur this bit out and say stuff happens.
Yeah, anyway.
No, I won't say what I was just thinking because it's wrong.
Just you thinking is wrong in general.
I was going to say, as long as I'm on fire with the term "eat me," that's fine.
You could say eat me if you wish.
I am sure we can prepare some form of delectable fare for you. This one is not quite confident.
Well, I'm glad at least one of you is full-heartedly enjoying the experience of being our slave.
Amelia clenches her fists, trying very hard not to fire another firebolt at him.
Rathir sort of like dash, as if he's like scratches his leg and it dashes his leg out and kind of catches her on the shin, not to hurt her, to give her a sort of nudge.
Okay.
I look over to Rathir.
Right. Slaves, get to it. Oh, and he looks at the mushroom and goes, I hope you fail, because you look like you might be rather tasty.
I don't know, I think our little friend here is a bit more than you and your companions can handle.
We'll see. And he just turns, looks at Amelia, kind of grins at her. He's trying to piss her off, and just starts walking away. So what do the two of you want to do? And you also, Derendil and Stall are there, and they will aid as well where they can. Though Stall probably isn't going to be the best chef.
What cooking utensils do we have?
You have a pot that seems to go over the spit, the brazier in the over here.
Yeah.
This
You
thing here.
you have a they're not the best of utensils. You have a few knives. There is a bucket at the end of the table, which has like water in it, which you're supposed to wash things.
How many knives are there?
There are 3.
Okay. Are they of varying sizes?
You've got you've got one large chopping knife. You got like what might be a paring knife, and then you got just a medium-sized knife for like vegetables or mushrooms or something like that.
Anything that can be sort of sleeved, like small enough.
I would say the paring knife would probably be the one that you'd be able to tuck away and hide potentially.
Okay, sweet. Just keep that in the back of my mind for later.
Okay.
Well, let's... Derendil, your eminence, surely your years as a princely fellow, you had quite the palate. Tell us, what could we possibly make with the ingredients we have here?
Then he kind of wanders over to the table and has a bit of a look. After about a few moments of looking, he turns and goes, well, these mushrooms... And he pulls out these, like, long, red, lichen-typed ones, and goes, these are better, more like spicing than you would, than actual eating raw. So we can throw those in, and he starts to go through this intricate list of how to prepare this meat that you've been presented with, and how these mushrooms are supposed to work together. And like you've got some mushrooms that act like wild garlic and onions.
Yeah.
That he starts he grabs one and starts to cut it.
He comes up, it's like, Your Eminence, please, you direct our hands and we'll prepare as you instruct. And he sort of starts going through the knives, kind of spacing them out a bit.
Okay, so he'll turn and be like, okay, so if you don't mind grabbing that and just putting this bit of twine around it and all this, he starts directing you, and he turns to Amelia and goes, could you make sure there's water in that pot for us, please?
Of course.
And
I'll go over and get water, I guess.
Yep. So yeah, you put the water in the pot, starts boiling away. So this goes on for about half an hour to 45 minutes of him directing the three of you to pick things up, to move things, to prepare things, to put things in various places. During this time, is there anything the two of you would like to do, or try and get the other two to do as well?
So, you said did you say that was like bags of flour?
Yes, they seem to have like what you'd find in the overworld or the upper world as like grains, rice, pulses, stuff like that, but the underworld variety of them. So they're very strange. You're not quite sure what some of them are. One of them just looks like a bag of spores.
Okay. So my thought is once we're kind of near the end, before we're about to plate up whatever this nonsense is we're making, is to create a bit of a fuss, like, oh no, we've bumped into stuff, and obviously stuff clatters. And as they're tidying up, he sort of, in the sort of mess of tidying up, he pockets the paring knife.
Okay.
Mm.
That's that. Yeah, we
So
can do
that's
that.
going to be near the end.
Okay. Amelia.
I'm gonna follow Rathir and just like help him get the knife, whatever means necessary, even if it means like I have to take another crossbow bolt and get downed.
As we're sort of going about, then Rathir would obviously present the plan to Amelia, but he'd also say, like, be as obnoxious as you like, but don't put yourself in a position where you get another bolt to the chest. I don't think you could survive another.
I will try. Just give me a signal and I'll do my best.
The main one seems more focused on provoking you than actually watching what is going on in front of his little pig eyes.
I know.
We may use this to our advantage, no?
I'm sure I can figure something out.
Gives her this sort of toothy cat grin, twitches his whiskers a little bit before he goes back to work.
Okay. The two of you do notice, because he didn't do a very good check, that Stool seems to be trying to move, like trying to rip one of the sacks smaller. He's like he's trying to make a small pouch out of the corner of one.
Over and help Stool. I'll just go over to him and I just kneel down and it's like, no, you need to open it this way. And as I'm doing that, just like subtly try and make a mini pouch for him.
Okay. Are you trying to assist him to do it, or are you trying to do it for him?
I'm going to assist him by going over and explaining like how you're supposed to open the bag.
Okay, so he will make his sleight of hand with advantage. Yep. And let's see how observant they are.
With the guards that are sitting there playing cards, can Rathir sort of like hum and sing along, and as they're sort of potting stuff up, they'll kind of go over and say, does this look decent to your elegant elven eyes? So he sort of block himself between the three of them and like show them whatever pot of food, I say in air quotes, they've got so far.
Yes,
yeah,
of course.
I want to try and cover Stool as much as I can as well, so he's got a bit more cover.
Okay.
Whatever Rathir doesn't cover.
Yeah.
So
Does that make sense?
He's sort of, as he's showing the pot, and he's sort of whistling and tapping his foot as well, just making as much sort of sensory sort of befuddlement as possible.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So, Amelia, you aid Stool in making this small pouch, and you see what he's trying to do because he successfully manages to open it in such a way that a little bit falls on the floor, and as he's kind of pretending to try and put it back in, you see him rip the rest of the corner of the bag to make a nice like V like little I guess it's like a triangle.
Oh, like one of those like sweet bags,
Yeah.
wrappers that you get at like Mayfairs.
Yeah, and he manages to make one, and with your help. And as he's putting this grain, this it looks like it's a mixture between grain and spore. As he's kind of hoofing this back into the sack as it's spilling, you notice that he's kind of doing it in such a way that his hand is cupped and then straightens as it looks like it's going in the bag. And what's actually happening is the spore is going into the little pouch he's made instead. He does this a few times and then looks over at you and kind of sheepishly scrunches it and kind of tucks it underneath some of the mushroom that the mushroom the top of his head is.
It sort of folds underneath the top of the mushroom.
Yeah, he kind of tucks it under there, and you can see him kind of trying to adjust his position, and he kind of just looks at you and goes, his spores comes off, and he goes, Thank you.
I
And
just smile very softly at him, and I just like pat him on the head, not really saying anything, but it's just like my way of saying you're welcome without getting too much attention.
And he notices and he's like, thank you. And he carries on. He then starts putting the rest of this spore stuff back in the sack and kind of folds it over, and it looks like he's trying to look like he's actually tidying up. As you two are doing this, Rathir, you pick up the pot and kind of wander over to the elvish guy, the elves, in the other corner of the room, and you kind of show them and go, "This look right?" And Derendil kind of notices what you're doing, kind of looks down at the table in front of him, and his hands just start to move over them like he's cleaning. You can't quite see what he's doing because you've pretty much got your back to him. But Amelia, you kind of notice that he's moving things in such a way that it looks like he can hide things as he goes. And he starts to pick up a few mushrooms and shove them down his sleeve slightly.
I'm just gonna move over and again do what I did with Stuart, and it's just like, I've heard, Your Eminence, that if you cut it in such a way, you can get a lot more of the flavour out of it, and just like assist him in trying to hide and gather the bits he's trying to take.
Yep. I should roll with him for advantage then. So as you're doing that and helping, he turns to you and goes, "Oh yes, no, you're definitely right with this. If I was to do this way," and as Rathir walks over with the pot, the drow closest kind of just looks at him, and as he does so, looks over and sees the two of you next to each other, and he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Oh, he was trying to teach me some new techniques for cooking. You know, if I am going to be stuck here forever, I might as well learn something good. Because God forbid I get it from any of you.
Do a persuasion check against his insight.
With advantage?
No.
Oh.
I would.
How
I would
much
Go on.
as he's walking over? How much of the stuff is in the pot? Is it like quite near the brim?
It's about 3/4 full. There's got a nice big bit left at the top where there's not a lot in it.
Can I, as I'm walking over, have it as if my tail wraps around my left leg by accident, tripping a little bit, kind of dumps onto his foot as he walks over?
Yes, you can. Do a sleight of hand check.
Yeah. 21.
Yeah, so this happens. So this is what happens. So you walk over with this pot, and the drow notices something going on between Derendil and Amelia. As he gets up to walk past and goes, "Oi!" You kind of trip slightly, and some of this mixture falls onto his foot. It's really hot, but he's wearing shoes. But he sees it, and he kind of shakes his foot slightly. As he's doing that, he looks down to take his foot, and Derendil quickly pockets the rest of what he was doing. He then the drow looks at you and goes, "Be more careful, or you'll be the first to die."
He makes this very sort of larger than life bow and goes, "Oh, many apologies, my gracious host."
And he turns to Amelia and goes, "Well, I suppose it would be good for you to learn. Just, I'm keeping my eyes on you." And he turns. Go on.
I didn't realise I was so attractive that you needed to keep your eyes on me. What will your lord say?
I'm thinking do deception.
With advantage?
You can have advantage this time.
Yay!
Well bargained for.
If you keep asking in that voice, sooner or later it'll come true.
Oh no, she can have it just for what she said this time. But she didn't have advantage last time because he rolled so badly.
Nice.
So nicely. So you say that to this guy, and he looks at you, and you can see even though he's quite dark skinned, you can see his cheeks kind of glow red slightly, just ever so slightly. They turn slightly red and he seems to be a bit more flushed, and he looks at you and goes, "I don't know what you're on about, you filthy animal." And he kind of looks at you as he turns around and then walks back to his chair. You've kind of not upset him, but you've
Flustered him.
Yes, he's not quite sure how to take that because of what you said about his lord and all this. He's like, well, he's not my lord, but he knows there's something between the two of you, and you've kind of flustered him a bit. And he's like, well, yes. And he just walks off.
Is it this one here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as this all happens, your best friend walks back in. Walks over to the table on the other side, pretty much next to you. Actually, this one. And he kind of just clicks his fingers and puts his feet up on the table and goes, "Amelia, dear, a glass of water, if you please."
I do as he says.
Okay. There are quite a few glasses just sitting on the side, so you put some water in, just normal water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in Rathir's head, it's like, yeah, fucking glass him. It's just good for in his head.
Weirdly, that's what I was thinking.
I was thinking the same thing.
That.
So he sits there, puts his feet up, and you bring this glass over, and he kind of points to the table on the edge, and you set it down. If you set it down, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And then he looks at the floor and sees this slight splash mark of where the food dripped off this guy's foot onto the floor. And he goes, "Clean it."
As I go to right myself, I'm going to pretend to trip and land on the flustered drow's lap.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just going to be very close, as if implying that something happened between us.
Okay, do a persuasion check.
Well,
No.
See, when she does that draw attention from the rest?
It does.
Can I go up next to Derendil and hand him the pot and attempt to pocket the paring knife while they're all distracted with Amelia?
You can indeed.
I've been a
what
pole
did you
dancer.
want me to roll? Sorry, Nath.
If you roll perception for persuasion for me. No, performance. It's performance because you're performing. Make a performance check.
Make up your mind!
Performance.
Oh.
Okay. So. Ooh. Okay. So, Rathir, your check, your sleight of hand, has advantage
Nice.
because while she
So-
rolled not great, he rolled lower.
Okay, sleight of hand. 18.
Yeah. So you are able to take the. I guess it was the knife. Yeah.
Yeah, the small paring knife, and that kind of gets as if he's going through it just to do a little bit more finer cutting, and it sort of gets flourished in up the sleeve.
Yep. So that disappears up your sleeve. They don't notice that. Your best friend Amelia kind of stands at this point and looks at you. Kind of just traipse over this guy, and he glares intently at one of his underlings. He just keeps staring at him. It's like he had something in mind that he was going to do, but the fact that something's might have happened between the two of you kind of distracts him completely. And he kind of just looks at this guy and goes, "I'll be dealing with you later," and just storms out.
And says, "Oh no, Amelia, is he grabbing at you again? Oh dear, oh dear."
What can I say? It takes a true drow to really get me going.
You could do. Let's see. I'd say that's kind of intimidation to a point, which you'd have advantage for.
I have proficiency.
Huzzah.
Ah,
Oh, yeah, I got roll inside him.
that was poopy.
No, he doesn't buy that one, and he kind of just carries on storming out. But I would like the two of you to make a perception check.
Nice.
Okay.
Mhm.
16.
27.
Okay,
Nice.
20.
so
Yeah.
so I'll do Amelia first. So Amelia, you
What do I see, Daddy? What do I see?
oh God, not Daddy again. So Amelia,
Tell me, Daddy. Tell me what I see.
so
Oh, Daddy.
you were kind of trying to get yourself up off this drow. You've said what you said about a proper drow treating you right, all this, and this guy's getting redder and redder in his face, and he's getting more flustered. He's trying to literally push you off him, thinking he's in deep shit, and that kind of distracts you a little bit. But you do almost hear the mutterings of two drow talking outside of the room. And this is kind of the kitchen dining area, and you hear two of them almost dragging something on the stone and talking loudly to each other, but not enough for you to get what they're saying. Rathir, you on the other hand, you immediately pick up what they're saying. Your feline ears kind of perk to position, and you hear them say, she slipped. I think she's dead. Let's see what our mistress can make of her.
And that is that people in passing dragging something.
Yes.
He said he's calm demeanor, but he kind of catch the hints of it, and his sort of the slits of his eyes kind of narrow, like razor sharp again. He starts sucking through his teeth.
You can, as they start walking away further, you can just about hear them, and they say, We'll take this one to the mistress. I'm sure she'll bring her back. Or rather, bring it back.
Under his breath, he's like, someone is definitely getting their fucking arteries cut.
And because of the natural 20, the last thing that you are able to register is, even though the sound kind of echoes slightly because of the shapes of the rooms and the fact they're stone, you get a clear ping of the direction they're walking, and it's north.
Epic. Cheers. I will note that down.
Okay. So
Note that shit.
note that shit. So you have successfully cooked the glass of water that is still on the table. He hasn't even touched it. You get the impression that he wasn't ever going to drink from it. He was going to do something else, but you don't know what it was now because he just didn't. Because of you.
Oh no, I had an idea of what he was gonna do. That's why I did do it.
Fair enough. Stall has his little pouch of spore something. Not quite sure what it is. You can ask him later if you so choose to. But he's got his little bag of spores, and Derendil looks quite. He looks quite suited for the slave role. He understood what the task was. He didn't try to fib or make any errors, but you do know that he managed to slip something, and Amelia would know it was a few mushrooms. You don't know which ones he managed to get though, because he fumbled it almost, but he got something.
Even with me giving him advantage. God.
He still fumbled. He got a 1 and a 4. He got a 2 and a 4.
Oh God.
Oh dear.
So even the DM's dice aren't going to be that nice to me today, apparently.
Christ.
So whilst all that's going on, we'll nip up back into the main chamber. Does anybody in the cell want to do anything?
Speck's still sleeping.
Speck's asleep, right?
Cecil's muttering to himself in the corner still.
Is Cecil just traumatized?
Speck over to one side.
He's traumatized, but he's definitely like almost chanting under his breath.
Fair enough. Erdas?
Erdas is leaning against the wall where he is, just looking straight out the. He's basically turned his eyes back to that guard, and he's made eye contact and is staring at him again.
Okay. Gharath?
I want to go across to Cecil and make sure he's okay. Because he doesn't seem to be doing too well.
Okay. Cecil, you can quite happily describe how you are, or speak to him in any way you want. Just remember, you did get stabbed slightly.
You're right. So Cecil's a bloody shitty mess at the moment, curled up. As you approach, you slightly hear him muttering the words, "My punishment."
Cecil, are you alright, man?
Yes, I'm fine. Of course I'm fine, yes. As he just turns around, his eyes are just completely red. Yes, I'm fine, I'm fantastic, thank you. Of course I'm fine, I'm always fine, I'm fine, of course.
I understand. I understand you was out there when, well, I believe you left just before Sylvie had a slip.
She's still here?
Had a bit of a lag from Cecil. Did you hear what Gary said?
Yes. And you missed a fantastic performance, Oscar winning. Yeah. Yes.
That happened. You missed my description when I was talking the first time.
Yeah. Where is she? I haven't seen her at all, unfortunately.
You haven't heard. They said that she went with the buckets and fell.
Oh, shit. And he does that, and then he goes, shit.
Oh, literally, man.
And his face is just, yeah. He looks like a sad.
Cecil, you got something just there.
Oh, no, just a blemish, my dear, just a blemish.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
And obviously rubbing more into his face.
No, there's some here as well.
I want to look around and see if I can see that bucket of water. Go and have a look at how much is in it. See if we can spare a little so we can try and clean up a little bit. So,
yeah, you would. By now, everyone who is in that, who was in that chamber, including Cecil, would have had time to drink and eat. And there's about, I don't know, like a slither at the bottom that hasn't been touched, like the dregs almost, that nobody probably is going to want because they're right at the bottom.
I'll grab the bucket and I'll bring it back over to Cecil, and I'm not going to stand and watch over him. I'm just going to put the bucket there so he can try and clean himself if he wishes, and then just ask, did you see anything when you was out there? Is there anything we can do? Any way we can get out of this fucking place?
First of all, Gharath, thank you. As he just starts pouring the water over him. Yeah, basically covering the tears. He's crying in the shower.
Oh.
He'll just say, door up north. I have a key in a very uncomfortable place at the moment. But up north, we might be able to escape.
So, are they within earshot? Are they on the other side of the room? The reason why I asked, alright, I wouldn't have heard about the key. That's fair enough.
Yeah, I'd probably be whispering as much as I could. I don't want to tell many people about where it is.
I'm not surprised why.
Yeah.
We do an insight check when he walked in.
Oh, come on. Leave the poor bugger alone.
He walked out not very happy, walked in crying with a bolt in his trousers, so you know.
It happened.
I think he was just doing a funny wiggle with his bum, but we can... Anyway, sorry, back to it.
Gharath sort of gives a little smile and looks down at the front of his kilt and says, yeah, I haven't got a sporran either. I'll just turn and I'll sit. So I'm sort of blocking some of the view from some of the people around. So Cecil's got a little bit of privacy if he wishes to make himself comfortable.
You've basically got a giant Goliath kind of standing almost in front of you to one side. You could literally hide behind him and change if you so chose.
Goliath curtain.
Yeah.
You have a Goliath door. There you go.
Yeah.
Did you think for your birthday you'd be role-playing taking things out of your bumhole?
I have it
That's
written
one hell
down
of a
here.
birthday present.
I told you I was planning stuff, didn't I?
It's on
Wish
his
list.
bucket list.
Oh, bucket.
Yeah.
Oh God, not again. He
Take
will.
notes.
He will
Hear the bucket
remove.
lord?
And the
You
bucket
Got
list.
boner. Got boner whilst removing key from bumhole.
Oh, fantastic! Well, the key didn't work up there, so he'll take it out and he'll just confiscate it. So he'll put it somewhere else if he can. I like how that's canon. Thank you.
You got to
But,
kill your bum.
yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he'll put it somewhere else, and he will ask Gharath to put and he'll pass him the bone, and he'll ask him to give it to Ron. Please just say sorry. I didn't realise it was I made bad decisions. Just please say sorry for me, please. And he just seems not like Cecil you saw originally.
Okay, I'll have a look and see if there's any of the slop left. There might probably be a little bit there in the corners. I'll just drop that by him because everybody reckoned they were going to leave enough for everyone. I'll drop in the bucket and I'll tuck the bone up my sleeve and I'll have a wander off and I'm going to go and doze in the corner and just wait and watch.
Okay, so you have it looks like half a femur it's like a femur that's been snapped almost in the middle, and it's broken in such a way that it's got a sharpened edge. You can use it as a dagger to stab somebody if you so chose to, or you could try and throw it, and it has the similar properties to that of a dagger.
Oh, that's good. I'm proficient with them.
Hey! Right, so... you're asleep. Okay, so we'll go back to the two in the kitchen, if that's everybody up in the cell done. Okay.
That was good.
Oh, I've lost myself. Where am I? There I am. Okay.
Just ask out of like curiosity. If I did roll quite high on that intimidation, what he would have done?
You'll
Wreck
never
himself.
know.
You will never know.
Ah,
I can't tell you something. It either
Yeah,
evolves or doesn't.
You can't ask the DM that.
Well, you can, you just won't get an answer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
that's
ask. You just won't get an answer.
Fine.
So, this guy who you're kind of now being pushed off, Amelia, by him as well. He kind of just looks up at you. And he's like, "I think they're done. Can they go now?" And you hear these two heavily armored drow and a few others kind of walk in, and they kind of look around and go, "There's the I always forget smell because I haven't really got one." So it's a nice aroma that's coming off this food that you've made. It smells really good. It smells like pork with a bit of a fiery blend to it, and you think that it would taste amazing if you were able to get a bowl of it. But as it finishes cooking, and Daredil puts the lid on it to let it to stew for a bit longer, the four of you are almost dragged out and kind of frog marched back to the cell. Is there anything the two of you would like to do?
Just as we're leaving, I just turn back to the drow I trusted and I just like blow him a kiss. It's like,
Okay. With everything that's gone on between you and him during the past almost an hour now, he kind of looked to you, but he looks at you in a way that makes you think he doesn't hate you.
ooh.
And he kind of just looks at you and grins slightly as his cheek goes red again. And then he looks over to his eye catches the other drow, and he kind of just goes back to being out. You get the gist that he's probably watching you leave.
Can I just put a little bit more of a sway as he's watching?
Right.
Oh god.
Do a performance check then.
It's a I hate to see you go, but I love to watch you leave.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh my god, you're flirting with Drow.
Yep. Ah.
Maybe not.
So as
Maybe
you
not.
kind of step forward, you don't quite get the sway quite right, and you almost like kind of knock into stool slightly and trip slightly, but you kind of
To be
get your
fair,
composure.
It makes sense because I'm more military than I am flirty, so
Yeah.
that makes more sense. To be fair.
So you kind of compose yourself, and you kind of remember your training, and you kind of, stiff upper lips, broad shoulders, and kind of start walking out with purpose. Yeah. So the four of you have marched out. I shall move just the four of you, but you have got people around you. Amelia, you won't see anything because you can't see in the dark.
I know.
I'm terribly sorry.
I mean, seriously, who would have created a character with dark vision in this?
I think we've had that joke.
Yeah.
So, just to describe it a little bit more, Rathir. So what you can see is 4 doors that are situated. There's one like opposite this room here.
Yes.
You got another one over here.
Mhm.
They both seem to be in the tops of the stalactite. And by the looks of it, there might be more below them, but you just don't know.
Yeah.
Over here is another door. You can just about see the edge of it. And as you kind of look over there, you do notice that where is he? A Quaggoth kind of opens the door and kind of steps out, followed by kind of a drow who's not wearing his armor. And he kind of just points at the Quaggoth and goes, "Okay, you can go now. Go." And you see this Quaggoth kind of shake, kind of lean over and grunt slightly as it begins to walk off. And this drow watches it for a minute and turns around and shuts the door behind him.
Alright.
You see another door here.
Bestiality for the win.
Oh my god. You see another door here, but it's just a door. It looks similar to the other one, but it goes over a larger gap in the wall. So that's that. As you head further north, Amelia again will see absolutely nothing. You're almost being guided, Amelia, because they know that you can't see. So you almost have a drow kind of leading you on by the one of the chains.
I know. I was just thinking, it's like I did all of that with my hand still tied, which is pretty fucking impressive.
So you notice that this ledge kind of narrows slightly as it goes round the corner to where you see another door over here, which you've not gone in, that you haven't seen anyone come out of either.
Okay.
As you keep going round, you get to...
As
Go on.
we're walking along, can I pick up any sort of the sight of any sort of drag marks?
Yes, please do an investigation check.
21. So another nat 20.
Yep. So with that, you see the oddest of things. So along, where are we? Along here, you pick up the faintest bit of hair, just a hair, and then like 10 foot further on, you see another bit of hair, and you don't get a chance to pick it up and inspect it properly. But the pattern on it is similar. It's a long hair about so big, and it kind of goes from white to grey and then back to white slightly.
Yeah.
You make of that what you will.
Okay.
But you also
Do
know
we continue on the path?
it continues on the path until the bridge here.
Uh-huh.
Where are we? One moment. Yeah. So it continues along the path till you get to this bridge here,
Yes.
and then seems to stop at this door.
Thea kind of side eyes that door and just makes a mental note of it.
Okay. You guys are taken across the bridge. So I've got 2 maps to move here. Into the other room, where you see the guards who are coming with you. That 1 or 2 of them do stop in that room. Funny enough, Amelia, you don't hear your best friend.
Oh dear.
He hasn't.
No.
He hasn't accompanied you back. You get
Maybe
to.
fallen off the edge.
You get back to the cell. Again, it's opened. The four of you are kind of told to go in, and it shuts behind you. So you are now free to do what you like in that room.
Oh.
I
Is
go up.
Good.
Cecil-
Yep.
Oh, sorry, Nico.
I was just going to ask, how clean is Cecil now?
Reasonably, there's still an odd aroma coming from the water around him, but
I'm
he's
just-
reasonably clean.
Why
I'm
am I covered
gonna-
in these goo?
I'll just go over to him, and I just literally snap my fingers and cast prestidigitation and clean him up.
Nice.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yep, that's fine. So he is now completely clean of all detritus and horrible things from the other room.
Sorry I
Ew.
couldn't do it earlier. I was a bit preoccupied.
He will grab your hand and just say, "You do not know how much this means to me," and will walk away and just curl up in the corner and
Lizzie,
try to go to sleep.
Lizzie, can you stop flirting with everyone?
I'm a flirty Bertie, what can I say?
Flirty bloody Bertie. Fair enough. So is there any... Oh. Is Cecil a germaphobe?
I mean,
No, he's being a not covered in shitophobe.
Yeah. I think that's quite fair, really, don't you?
He's allergic
that's
to
quite
shitophobe.
fair. I mean,
You
no one
sound
wants to be covered.
mate.
No one wants to be covered in shit, let alone anyone else's shit.
True. And these things are big, as in the piles that you had to clean, you had to move were really big.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Rathir goes up to Turvey, takes a knee in front of him, just kind of gives him a smile and says, "Looks like they found young Sylvie, so, and I know where they're keeping her."
Really? He kind of grins and not grins. He smiles at you and goes, "Really?"
Yes, I've heard them talking of her and a body being dragged, and I found her hairs along the path back here.
But how did she survive if she did fall? I watched her fall.
Well, we Tabaxi are more robust than we are giving credit for.
Oh. Well, that's good. And he kind of looks to his sister, and his sister kind of gives him a bit like a shake on his shoulders and goes, "See, it is good. We will get out of here."
And I
Oh.
gesture to, I say, kind of in a meta point, the party members to kind of see if we can get in a bit of a huddle.
Yeah, of
Well,
course.
Erdas is already there with you, and he looks down at Toxic and goes, "Do not worry, we will get out of here. I can guarantee this."
They both look and smile at you and go, "It's about time that we, well, not right now, obviously, but it will be good to get out of here."
Oh, I can guarantee. We will. At least I can guarantee some of us will.
Not ominous
Uh,
in the slightest.
Once everyone manages to sort of gather themselves up, Rathir obviously again mentions that the drow have found Sylvie's body and he knows where they're keeping her, or he can deduce where they're keeping her from where he's tracked what he believes to be her fur, and that's this. If you exit here and head down the path to the left, before the kitchens, there is a doorway that I believe leads to this mistress they speak of. That is where they have taken young Sylvie. This mistress may possibly be their leader, so if we do escape here, some damage mitigation on our part may be of some benefit if we can take her out of the picture on our way out.
I'm sure something can be arranged.
To be fair, I do not care who we kill or do not kill. I just want out of here.
Hmm.
Well, some disruption can only benefit us, no?
True, true.
Seeing that Cecil is still in the corner, I want to go back over, grab his hand, and like bring him over to the group, so he can contribute as well.
Okay, so as you kind of wander over to Cecil, Stool kind of walks back to his corner, and sees Cecil there, and sees this muddy, dirty water around him, and Stool kind of stands there and just looks at Cecil and shakes, and his spores come off, and he speaks to Cecil directly, and he makes it so no one else can hear, and he just goes, Cecil, he goes, this might be gross, but would you mind if I had that?
Take the bloody water away from me. Take it away.
His head kind of shrinks into his shoulder slightly as he goes, okay. And you watch as he kind of just steps over to where this muddy water is and just sits down in it and doesn't move.
If I fets, I sets.
Pretty much.
I fits, I sit.
You can try to figure out what he's doing with it if you so chose to.
He does not give a shit about that shit.
Okay, so Stool just kind of.
If he can get rid of it, Cecil will be a happy guy.
So Stool kind of just sits there and kind of just looks up at you as you're looking at him, and then as you get dragged away by Amelia, you look back at him and his eyes are just watching you as you walk away. And as you turn, you kind of hear him fidgeting where he's sitting.
Is the water going?
And is there a noise accompanying it?
Is there like a...
No, you can't hear anything happening, and you definitely can't, because he's sitting on it. You don't know what's happening.
Next episode he's
Want to know
like 2
happening.
times bigger.
Oh
Oh my god!
Give him more of it.
Let's ride him out
What
of
to
it.
do? Everyone start shitting.
Not quite.
No,
I like that. No.
no.
Cecil will come over. No, yeah. With no hesitation.
So, do we have a plan, or is this just a, how you say, showing each other what we've got session?
Well, it all depends on how your friend gets us out.
As I say, this person is not my friend. I have spoken to them one time, and they told me that the door may open by itself if one person stays awake.
Well,
However, once the door is open, that is another, what is the expression, kettle of fish.
Just DM. Would Cecil have realised that the key that he has on him was different than the one they've been using to open
Yeah.
the gate?
He
would have easily.
Yeah, it's completely different. The
Okay.
key that they have is
Good.
is quite.
Classic long.
Yeah, it's a long metal
Yeah,
thick
yeah,
key
yeah.
that you'd put in a cell door. The one
So
that you've
that's a master key, and I've got a little Zelda.
you've got
key.
you got a Diddy
Yeah,
cue
yeah,
that
yeah.
looks more like
Okay.
it would fit into
Cool.
a lock on, say, a bedroom or a storeroom or something where they don't need a massive lock to
Yeah.
keep whatever's
A
inside.
padlock, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Well, before we do escape, I don't suppose anyone can get these off me, and I'll jangle the restraints on my wrists.
Rathir, did you not break the item you were using on ours, or do you still have something to use?
this one still has a small piece of the hairpin, though how much use it will be is in doubt.
Well, to be fair, I cannot attest through personal knowledge, but however, having a military person such as Amelia with her hands free may benefit us in the long run.
Are there, with the sort of hairpin I've got just now, or what part I've got, is it like a single long strand, or is it sort of bent round but could be straightened out?
No, the hairpin is almost snapped in. Well, it has snapped in two. So as you were kind of fiddling away with one of the locks, you pressed slightly too hard on one of the checks, and it kind of sheared in the middle. So you've got a bit about that big.
Yeah.
That you can't. It won't do anything inside. You could probably throw it or stab somebody with it, but that's about it.
Can I make a suggestion? I have a pin holding my kilt together. Do you want to give it a go with that?
You do not want that one broken.
It's not a bobby pin because they didn't really have them, but it is a bent pin that goes over and it's just got a little twist at the end, and it's about 3 to 4 inches long. It goes on the side of the kilt.
Rathir just sort of smiles and sort of shrugs, tilts his head.
So I unpin it, try to hold my kilt together. Pass you the pin.
I hate you all. Oh, for crying out loud. Yeah, make the check.
All I can hear in my mind is a zip. Clean up.
Who's making a check?
If you're gonna go to unlock Amelia's manacles, make a. Do you have proficiency? Yeah, you have proficiency of thieves tools. So do thieves tools then.
17.
Nice.
Yep. So you kind of position yourself so the people from the god cow can't really see you. And you fiddle away at this thing and click, it comes loose. She's still got one on her other hand.
I'll do the other one as well, but as he's doing the other one, he's going to sort of hum to himself, and he's singing the song, like kind of lowly singing the song that his mum taught him. They sort of keep the rhythm of how to move your hands and such.
Okay.
Sort of keep his mind on track so he doesn't get too keen like he did last time.
Okay.
So I'll roll another thieves check.
Yes, please.
The song did not work.
So you're going at it, and you feel like it gives slightly. The pin that you've been given by Gharath, it kind of gives slightly, and you think, oh, it's unlocked.
Please don't break his pin.
But it hasn't unlocked it, and you haven't broken it. But as you pull the pin out, you do see you've bent it slightly.
Yeah. Can I get it in my teeth and try and like bend it back into place a little bit?
You know where that pin's been, don't you?
The pin.
I grew up in the streets of Port Nyanzaro. I've eaten much worse things.
Yeah. You can certainly try. So I would like, let's see, just a straight dexterity or strength check, your choice.
11.
Yeah, so that's enough. You kind of play with it in your teeth, and yeah, you straighten it. It's not perfectly straight, but it is straight still.
Can Cecil just interject and say, I feel like I have done nothing good today. May I try?
You've shoveled some shit. It's something. But yes, I guess.
It's not good for me. And he'll just grab the pin.
Yeah, he hands it over graciously.
Do you have thieves tools proficiency?
Yeah, man.
Doesn't everyone in the room?
Yeah.
Probably all of you probably do.
Yeah.
I don't. I feel left out.
No dark vision and no thieves tools, and you're a prisoner in the Underdark. Oh god.
So is that sleight of hand?
It's sleight of hand with thieves tools, yeah.
I have made all the right choices.
Yep.
Alright, so I will use my inspiration then.
Birthday boy inspiration. So you get advantage on the roll.
Imagine it's 2 1s.
Oh my god, I
don't,
would cry.
Oh, no.
I will cry if it's 2
It's funny
I will
because that's the age that I am. So let's go 11.
Oh my god.
Oh
That's the
my
first one.
You have
First
advantage.
one. You have advantage.
Oh, there you
There
go.
we
Okay,
go.
so what happens is you go at it to start with a bit ham-fisted. You go, oh, I know what I'm doing, and because you want to prove that you're able to do something after shoveling shit for so long, you grab this pin and without thinking, you kind of just shove it in the lock, and you hear a slight clink, and you feel a reverberation up your hand, and you're like, and then you just move it suddenly, like in a twisting way, and you hear another click, and then nothing happens for a second before Amelia's manacle then just falls off her hand. So the ham-fisted attempt at doing it, you basically put it in the perfect position to start with, and you just twisted it and undid it.
Brilliant. I'm still in shackles as well, aren't I? Cecil.
No, I thought you got unlocked.
No,
you'd be gone.
I
He
was
was out the
away.
room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't Gharath, so technically I'm still
If you
shackled.
want, I can do it, and obviously just keep me on track as I'm sort of going round then.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah, well, if you're giving the help
Okay,
action, it's with
help you.
advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, then I'll just quickly do that. No.
Yeah, no, what are you with
That's
the
three nat
one?
20s for
Yeah,
you.
natural 20s.
I'm actually
Awesome.
writing that down. Rathir, 3 natural 20s.
Rob,
Yes.
you know you're allowed to space them out between games. You don't have to use them all at once.
That's fine.
So you go at picking, and Cecil kind of adjusts his position slightly, which gives you a better angle, and you just go pop, and this thing falls off. He's still got one on.
Okay, I'll do the other one as well. Is that with advantage as well?
I'm guessing Cecil's going to still help.
I would 100% help.
Yep,
Yeah.
advantage.
22.
Yep.
Almost again.
This one's not as
Nice.
easy, but you still just pop it in, and after a few seconds, click, and it falls off. So I believe everybody apart from Sylvie before she left, everyone
Yeah.
else is now unlocked.
Yeah, everyone.
And all the other prisoners.
I can't
Yeah,
remember
we
if I've
don't
done them
care.
or not, because I remember doing the rounds around the cell, but I can't remember if I've done them or just the party.
I don't think you did the giant toad thing.
Giant toad thing.
Alright, I'll pass it over to Cecil, like, if you want to check out our other friends.
And I don't know if you... Did you do this guy over here?
I can't remember.
I'm the only guy that's spoken to him, so nobody's.
Yeah,
gonna know.
probably
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
So if you're planning on
course.
unlocking the everybody else, instead of doing a single a check for every single lock, because that will take forever.
Yeah.
I definitely did do Sarith. I made sure I got him.
Yeah, you did him.
Sarith, and I think I got Topsy as well.
Yes. So do 2 checks.
Yeah.
The first check is for the 4 at the bottom, from this guy onwards, and the second check is for the 4 at the top, from that guy to Turvy. So if you basically,
Okay.
if Rathir helps you, you have advantage.
Yes.
Brilliant. Awesome.
So
Or else wants to help.
yeah, unless anyone else wants to try and give a hand with these tools.
I can do help because I have proficiency with tools. So.
Okay, so
Okay, brilliant. I'll roll 2.
yeah, that's
You
20.
take
That's
23,
23 for the
yeah.
first one.
I'm just going to keep an eye at the gate just to make sure that no one's...
As Cecil's walking around, Erdas will basically put his arm around Cecil as though he's helping him try and walk away his woes, so it doesn't
Awesome.
look so suspicious.
Okay. So with the 23, you unlock the first 4. With the 22, you unlock the second 4. So every single person in the cell is now unlocked. Obviously,
Right, he does that. He'll go, Cecil Sarvaris, at your service. He's like, I'm back in the room.
I'm here. I did something.
Yes.
And I'll say
Did you one?
I'll say as you went round, you'd obviously tell the rest of them that if people come across, just to close them, but they won't lock, and just make it look like you're not unlocked.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything else you guys would like to do?
Can I by chance have a listen out to see if my friend comes back? I'm
You
beginning to
can.
miss him.
You can indeed. Let's see. Let's do perception.
Can I have my pin back?
What
I
pen?
clearly don't miss him enough.
You, between being
No,
exhausted,
you have to fight with one hand. Off you go.
you by being exhausted through the fact that you literally have
Still
very
on
low.
1 HP.
Yeah, you have 1 hit point. You're very tired. You've just spent an hour and a bit cooking for some arrogant people, and you've been using your energy to try and help the group. It kind of fits that you're just so tired that you kind of lean up against the gate and almost kind of wake yourself up as you're kind of standing there, but you're almost kind of drifting off. But the military training kicks in and you're like, no, I need to stay awake. I'm good.
Does anybody here know how to mark the passage of time, and therefore tell me what time it is? Don't all shout at once.
Speck's still asleep.
I think I'd imagine everyone just kind of looks at you and shrugs.
Okay. Shall we go to sleep then?
Let's go to bed. And Cecil will find a cozy place.
Do you want to go sit near stool?
No.
Are you sure?
Do you want to go and sit on the stool?
Yeah.
As you're all kind of looking around, and as you go past stool to unlock him, you do see that he's actually now moved along a bit, and the original pile of dirty water that was on the floor that he sat on is no longer there, and he's now kind of moved along to the next big patch. And he just kind of looks at you and grins as you walk past, and after you unlocking his wrist.
Yay.
I suggest whether we sleep in shifts, we take turns.
Okay.
Well, I would suggest you all go to sleep, and I shall stay awake. I will keep watch. I'm very good at watching over my comrades. It's one of my skills, of many.
Amelia finally, from being so tired, she just sort of collapses by the gate in exhaustion, because that seems like a reasonable action when one is exhausted.
That is a very good action.
Rathir just plants himself next to Topsy and Turvey and just huddles up to go to sleep.
Gharath is just walking round and round the cell trying to find his pin.
But Cecil just goes, Sir Gharath, here you go, man. Here you go. Be comfortable, please.
I'm thanking you.
Sorry, I interrupted there. Go a second.
That's right. I was just thanking Cecil, and I'm just going to go over, lean up against the wall again, and just shut my eyes.
Okay.
Erdas walks to where I've put him, and he sits down, and he does like the lotus pose, as though he's going to meditate for 6 hours, or however long he needs to meditate for.
4 hours.
4 hours. So he goes into meditation position.
Okay. And Amelia, where are you going to position yourself? Because you're currently next to the gate.
I kind of imagine that's probably where I collapsed.
In that case, Erdas will walk over and help Amelia away from the gate. Possibly to about there. There.
So, like, right next to Speck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So, trying to get a rest in this environment on the hard floor. You can hear the waterfall. You can hear the odd flutter of bats that go through the cavern occasionally. I would like everybody to please do a wisdom saving throw.
Is that everyone trying to sleep, or
Everyone trying to sleep, so you're okay.
Right. Okay.
Another nat
What
20.
is seriously? What is it with you in the night? Rob,
Yes.
as soon as COVID's over, you need to go to a casino.
I
Yeah,
usually
boy.
do well.
He prayed to bucket, Lord.
Hey!
Hey. Praise the bucket, Lord.
He gone find his Sylvie.
Okay. So that would be Amelia, Rathir, Cecil, Speck, Gharath, 5, and Erdas. You're not sleeping. Erdas, rather. You're
Nope.
not sleeping. Okay, so
Call him Erdy, it's quicker.
okay, is not sleeping. Okay, so Rathir and Speck, you drift off eventually, and bloody hell, natural 20. You kind of dream of being free and the outside world and all the things that you can't get at, or your pleasures that you can't indulge in whilst you're here, and you get quite a your sleep is unabated and quite peaceful. Amelia, Cecil, and Gharath. The three of you don't have peaceful dreams. You each dream of a strange blackness enveloping your senses as you sleep. It seems like as you turn in your dream and as you try to look around your surroundings, all you see is endless rock, and no matter what direction you run in, you find more rock that seems to go left or right. You get the impression that this is like a maze, that no matter which direction you go, you can't find the exit. And as this dream goes on and on, eventually you come across a pool. Looking in the pool, it's completely black, until this tendril whips out and grabs your leg and starts dragging you towards the pool. It's cold, it's oily, and no matter how hard you try to fight back, you just can't get free. And it drags you closer to this pool, and you're grasping at the edge of the rock on the floor to try and find some purchase to pull yourself back, but you keep slipping and slipping until Erdas, whilst everyone else is sleeping, some of them not so peacefully, you start hearing this strange droning sound, like wings of a big creature that are fluttering away. And you hear another one, and another one. And then you almost hear like the sounds of bat wings, but loud whooshing bat wings as something's coming to the chasm. And as you're trying to fixate and figure out what it is, the droning gets louder and louder, like bees, like wasps buzzing around.
Okay, Erdas is fine with it. Stuart is freaking out.
Good. All of a sudden, an alarm starts ringing. One that sounds humanoid made, like the elves are reacting to something. Ding ding, ding ding, ding ding. Everybody gets startled awake by this sound. And you start hearing like shouts and people screaming, and the sound of orders being directed around. Occasionally you hear the whoosh of a crossbow bolt as it's being fired. And that's where we're going to leave it for tonight.